Okay. And then he's like a herd being led to the slaughterhouse, meaning after he becomes dominated by the majority's desires of the outside world, he has no choice. He must request and desire what the majority desires, meaning he's under full control of the outside society. This rule is also under the Creator's governance. He shouldn't think that anything is outside of the Creator's rule, though it's a completely different governance. This governance is not a Hishena, but Beito. In this case, he chooses other alien thoughts and desires and passions that are opposite to the path, and he has no strength to oppose the majority's influence. So he's flowing along with the rest of the world. In this case, there is but one advice for him: to cling to his teacher and to the books internally, meaning to find nourishment from the books and their authors. He needs to sink his teeth into the lessons, into all our sources, into what's close to him, what influences him most. It can be some article or piece from the teaching of the 10 Sfirot, or it can be, it doesn't matter what, maybe songs, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it would strengthen him in his connection to his society, meaning our society. And only in adhesion with them can man change his thoughts and desires for the better. And no arguments or tricks will help him change his thoughts. The answer, the salvation, lies only in adhesion, because adhesion is a miraculous remedy which returns him to the source. And only when he is in connection with them, can he argue with himself and pontificate about how the reason always forces him to walk the Creator's path. But it's all nonsense. After all these arguments and clever sayings, when he tries to defeat his ego, he must come to a conclusion, ultimately, that all of his beautiful conclusions and arguments, all his studies, his agreements with friends, none of it means anything. It's all these weapons, they can't do anything against the ego, because they are all consequences of the aforementioned adhesion, meaning everything depends on how he clings himself, ties himself with ropes to the group, for them to call him often, to connect to the internet, to be with them, to prepare materials for them, to engage in daily work with them. If this doesn't exist, nothing is going to help. Dissemination is for us more so than anyone else. It allows us to always keep advancing and keep perfecting ourselves. That's the only way it works. And I'm telling you from my own personal experience. I can tell you, unfortunately, I can show you 30 or 40 people that I have brought to Rabash. I don't want to say anything bad about them. Right now, they more or less study Kabbalah. But if you were to speak with them, you would see what it means, what studies without advancement bring you to. I'm very sorry to say it. It disturbs me a great deal, but it is what it is, and we know from what Baal Salam tells us that this is something we must do. And all his judicious arguments that he uses to base his reasonings on, they're all come out to his connection with the teacher. As soon as he loses the foundation of this connection to his teacher, he will lose all his reasonings and conclusions, because he will have nothing to lean on. Therefore, man should never trust his reason, but always simply cling to his teacher. Only this will help him, and not his own reason or wisdom, because these things do not have the wisdom, the spirit of life.